There's always gonna be good days, there's always gonna be bad days. Just because you're having a bad day, you shouldn't let that dictate your whole day. Because imagine everything's going good, you keep doing your goals, your tasks, you're just minding your own day, right? But then this one bad thing happens, and then all the plans you've had, or like you're not in the mood, everything just crumbles. And honestly, like, in my mind, I mean, I can understand why people feel this way. You know, they want to do this, they want to do that. I mean, obviously, I can say, okay, do this, do that, do this, but it's more of a deeply rooted thing when you think about it. Because there's not gonna be like one answer that's gonna fit everything. Because like it's all these actions, these decisions that we make, they're all coming from our mindset. And the mindset is our thoughts, our values, our morals, our trauma, things we overcame. It's like a processing system, and you've like made it like you do X, and then Y happens. If X, then Y. And really, our brain is very complicated. Well, I don't know if it's even complicated. A very complex system of our ways of thinking and making decisions. And then there's, of course, hormonal things. You feel sad, you feel this, you have a shift in your drive, and then that affects our decisions and the way we think. Honestly, it also comes down to the people who we hang around with. We all know the famous quote, "You are the average of the people who you hang around with." Everyone agrees, and then they go back to hanging out with people who they should not be hanging out with. I can understand you can be lonely, and just because you're lonely, like you're thirsty for attention, and I mean, obviously, you should not go back to toxic people just because you're feeling lonely. It's like if you're thirsty, you don't go and drink the poison. Honestly, it's really, I mean, in my mind, I'm just thinking, you have these things you need to do, right? We all have things to do. And then because of this one thing, sure, your mood's gonna be out of place. And obviously, if you do that, like, you're gonna ruin all those things. And then you go back in the future, not go back, you look into the future, right? This moment, you had this very sad point, this down point. I'm telling you, like, this is okay. You can have like very bad stuff that's happening, and then there's gonna be like so minor things, like this friend who was like doing this thing, and then that really affected you. But then later on, everything's gonna be okay. You know things are gonna be okay. But that time, like, you should not really dwell on those emotions. How can I say this? Overall, the me saying like not dwelling those emotions, like overall in my head, just sounds bad. But obviously, there's like a fine line of things, right? You acknowledge it. And your impulses are literally like, you get this huge hit of like dopamine, and you're like, okay, I need to do this, I need to say that, I need to get revenge. And overall, like, that's not gonna happen. That's not the smart thing to do, right? You should always think about what the outcome's gonna be, right? That's why they always say, think before you say something. Because if you don't, you're just gonna jump on your impulses and say this because you just felt this emotion, and then you had to spike that for yourself. I mean, obviously, you're not going to, because anything in the world, you will not just, let me rephrase that. Just imagine this one thing you feel like you feel this one positive emotion from this one specific thing or one person. And obviously, if you can, it can positively affect you in one way. It's obviously gonna affect you negatively in another way. Honestly. It could be even your team, right? You love your football team, you love playing guitar, you love playing piano, but there's gonna be times, it spikes good emotions to you, and then there's gonna be other times where it's gonna annoy you, it's gonna give you a bad day, it's gonna give you whatever it is. Because anything that can positively affect you will always and can negatively affect you too. I mean, the random explanation I can give you is love. People think love is holding hands, it's doing this, it's going to the movies, it's whatever. Excuse me. I mean, overall, like, love is like the whole spectrum, right? It's like love is like missing them. You're wondering where they have been, or why they haven't texted you back or called you back. Or it's all these ups and downs. Just imagine if just one thing, it's gonna be like so linear, so predictable, so familiar. It's not gonna be like that. Even when people talk about growth or even statistics, right? You have all these stock markets and like generally like stats analyzed. They don't always go like this, like a straight line. They always go up and down. Sometimes it's like, I don't know, some kind of J curve. Goes down and it spikes up to go somewhere up. You might be thinking, oh, what do I do for all this, right? I mean, all our minds are like programmed in one particular way. So for me to tell you to do this, do that, that's not just gonna be an action that you make by yourself. I guess it all goes down to the root of things, where you focus on your mental health. You start making plans so your day is arranged. Maybe you can't like arrange every specific time, but then you make one or two arrangements, plans. I think that will like honestly help all of us in general. I mean, the thing is, we do all have plans. We just keep something in our mind and just, even if that's the case, you keep something in your mind and you put all the efforts and everything that aligns to it. Because if not, everything just gets so distracting in this modern world. Honestly, focus on your mental health. And by that, of course, you get enough sleep. Sleep is like, these are like crucial things. These are like baseline things. Getting sleep, going out, and going out, I mean moving around, obviously. Because you get all these diseases. You get sick when you don't get enough sleep, when you don't walk around, you lose weight, you're not focused on your diet. At least, be aware of what's happening. Because it's like everything is like an accumulation of small things. And then the action you take is bigger than the action itself, because that's how those decisions compound. I'd say just focus on those things, because the whole goal is here to like, okay, I want to be like, I don't want to get too impulsed and make bad decisions or whatever. I mean, obviously we have to like control ourselves. Okay, let's not even say control, like at least keep a balance, because obviously like, this whole world now is like hyper stimulated everywhere we go. Like, I'm finding very less and less people nowadays. It's always been less people who are on like, I don't know, reels and doom scrolling, and it's saps out their attention spans and just puts so much garbage in your head. And then you're starting to think, if I was thinking about this because they said this or because of that person said this. I mean, obviously there's like good education like anywhere you can find in the internet. Obviously just you narrow down to the part where you want to go, where you feel like you belong. There's potential in all of us, and not a lot of people walk through that. Anyways, have a great day.